All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you all. Hi, Andy. Laura's here.
All right.
Great. Beautiful. I hope everyone's doing well. Hi, Joanne. Great. Yeah, excellent. I love the turnout here today. Good to see everyone. Happy spring wherever you are. It's spring where I am in Vermont. Like, oh my gosh, things are taking off. I have a robin's nest on my porch and a bunch of frogs in my pond, and they're peeping away. So I hope it's treating you well, whatever season you're in. And just giving it a moment where people are joining, getting their audio connected. Excellent. Well, hi to everyone who's here on Zoom and hi to everyone who's watching our live stream on YouTube. You are here for the virtual tour of intentional communities. This is an event that we host 2 times every month. And today we are exploring Heartwood Cohousing in Colorado. And my name is Cynthia. I'm going to be the host for today's event. I don't live in Colorado. I live in a different eco-village, a small intentional community here in Vermont. And I'm going to get things started here by sharing my screen and pulling up a presentation. And then I'm going to hand it over shortly to our main presenter, Mac, who's here from Heartwood. All right, so hope that you can see this okay. Once again, we're here for Heartwood Co-Housing, and I'm really excited about today's event because though I have not been to Heartwood myself personally, it is a community that I've been following and learning a lot about. We actually had Mac on actually some years ago to give a presentation to us, and I think there's been a lot of changes since that time, including a new expansion that I'm excited to hear about. And one of the things, especially with Heartwood, is it's such a vast community in terms of the land acreage. So really a lot of space and really cool design. I just think it's gorgeous with as you can see, the photo here. So we'll see a lot more photos shortly. I'll just run through a few intro pieces as we're getting started. As I mentioned, we are live streaming right now to YouTube, but about halfway through, we'll turn off the live stream and just have some time together to get into your questions and have more discussion. So really be thinking as we go along, what questions do I have? What would be some really interesting discussion points to bring up there at the end? I really encourage you to use the chat. So go ahead, find the chat. Would love if you could introduce yourself. Let's use this as a chance to connect with each other as well as to learn about Heartwood. So go ahead and if you wouldn't mind typing into the chat where you are calling from. If you live in an intentional community, I would be really curious to know which one. And also, what do you hope to learn or get out of today's session? What is calling you to be here today, to take time out of your busy life to really learn about intentional community? Are you thinking of joining a community, looking to start one? So go ahead and type in a little message. Welcome Shanti from Milwaukee, Robin. Oh, you're both from Milwaukee. I hope you, yes, okay, you know each other, maybe. St. Pete, Florida. Oh, so, this is just happening now that we have Joanne also from Florida. You all who live near each other, you should be connecting. Yeah. Use this as an opportunity to take the online community into the real world community and connection building. Okay. All right, so a bit more about today's event. As you probably know, this event is put on in partnership with the Foundation for Intentional Community, also known as FIC, that runs the website called ic.org. So just the letter I, the letter C.org. And they have a tremendous amount of resources available on their website many of them for free or by donation. It's a nonprofit organization, and they're always a wonderful organization if you're ever looking to think about where you could support, and maybe if you have some extra money to put towards a nonprofit, they are certainly a worthwhile one. FIC has on their YouTube channel all of these past virtual tours going back 3 or more years. So encourage you to check that out and subscribe if you'd like. And today's event is also put on with my organization called Community Finders. I know we have many members here today as part of our Community Finders Circle. So a lot of resources. I have a very active blog there at communityfinders.com. And lastly, this event is also put on in partnership with Eco Village Tours. So Eco Village Tours is an organization that I created to actually help people travel to intentional communities. So eco villages, but also co-housing and other models of community living worldwide. So these are some of our summer tours coming up in France, Portugal, and also where I live in Vermont. And as a member of today's event, you get a special discount code. This is the FIC discount code, FIC200, for $200 off any of these tours. Yeah, and feel free if you have any questions about the trips, because I know they're coming up soon and we have a lot of people who are interested but haven't decided yet. So feel free to message me in the chat if you have any questions. Okay, so lastly, I'll put a plug for our next virtual tour. So 2 weeks from today, May 8th, same time, same place. We're doing these events on the second and the fourth Thursdays of every month. And you can go now to ic.org and register if you'd like to get the link for the next one. And it's going to be actually with a community based in Denmark. So this should be very interesting. We've been having a lot of US-based communities lately, but we're going to travel over to Europe on May 8th, and I think it's called Ivano Oasis Eco Village. I could be pronouncing that wrong though. And if you don't know, Denmark is actually considered the home of the co-housing movement. So the term co-housing was actually coined by two architects, Charles Durrett and Katie McCammett, who were young architects exploring in the 1970s. They went over to Denmark and were just amazed at this more community-based model of housing. And they coined the term co-housing and brought it to the United States and have helped start many co-housing communities, like we're going to hear from today with Mac from Heartwood Cohousing in Colorado. So I think this will be really interesting to learn more about the scene in Denmark and one of the thriving communities based there. So I hope you'll join us for that. And now, yeah, get ready to give your full attention here to Mac. If you want to remove any distractions, have a glass of water, a notebook handy. Remember to be thinking about questions that you want to ask as we go along. Whew, just take a few deep breaths. Maybe feel yourself in your seat. Letting go of whatever else may have happened earlier in your day. And just give your full attention now to Mac. Welcome, Mac. Thank you so much for joining us. Really great to have you back.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's really a pleasure to be here.
Good.
All right. Should I get going then?
Yeah.
Okay,
Please
well,
take it
good.
away.
Um, so like many of you, I've had a yearning to be in community for I guess pretty much my whole life. And I've had the pleasure of living in various types of communities, and in college, of course, I think many people the same. And so in the early 90s, my wife and I pursued living in community and ended up becoming founding members of Heartwood Cohousing. So I'll give you a little bit of tour about Heartwood with some photos. I will share my screen now. All right, so you should be able to see that now. So just a few kind of random facts about Heartwood. We got started on working towards building the community in 1994, and then we were able to actually get the homes built and move in 2000, 24 homes in that original phase one. We have 52 people living here currently. Uh, seven of those are children, and we have all ages. We just had a little baby born here last month, so we're all the way from newborns to I think we have about a half a dozen or so octogenarians. Um, we have 360 acres, and I believe that we are the largest co-housing community by acreage in the world. I haven't heard anybody say otherwise, but I think that's the case. 65 of those acres are irrigated pasture land. We've got very good water rights, which is super important here in the Four Corners region, a fairly dry region in general. And then the thing I'm really excited about sharing today is that we've got 14 homes planned for phase two, and we are going to start building those hopefully in about a month or two. Where we're located, you can see here the Rocky Mountains. So we're right at the south end of the Rocky Mountains. Uh, but we're all this kind of red over here. Those are the red rock canyons of Utah and Arizona, everything from Arches National Park, Canyonlands National Park, Zion, Bryce, Grand Canyon, all that stuff is kind of in our backyard. So we're in an amazing place. In my opinion, we've got the best four-season climate anywhere. Uh, it's super nice part of the country. We are pretty rural. We've got a small town just a couple miles from us, and then a bigger town about 25 minutes away. We have virtually no traffic here, virtually no crime. If you know anything about Colorado, it's got a very healthy population because everybody's outdoors, playing and working quite a bit. Here's some pictures of Heartwood. This is our annual turkey trot before Thanksgiving. And this is kind of the north end of our land. And here you can see our houses. Um, and then our pasture land is down here. Out of our total 360 acres, about 350 is open space, and our houses occupy about 10 acres in the middle. Here's a monthly community work party. We do have a tennis court that doubles as a pickleball court, and I guess you'd say triples as a basketball court as well. And here's some of my neighbors playing pickleball, mountain biking, harvesting garlic down in the pasture. This is a spring-fed pond we have, and this is more on the southern end of our land now. And then this is the Red Rock Canyon country. We do a big annual camp out in Canyonlands National Park. Just stunning, stunning part of the world to live in. We're very lucky. And here's some of our little kids. Not so little anymore, but when this was taken, they were little. Anyway, skiing at our local ski resort. This is Purgatory Ski Resort. And then we have cross-country skiing in the National Forest, just a few minutes from our property. We're, we're kind of in an interesting place because we're an established community of 25 plus years now, but we're also sort of a new forming community in the creation of these new 14 homes. I think because we're rural, we're a very close-knit community also. We have a lot of community meals together. This is an Easter brunch. This is just some neighbors on a back patio enjoying, I believe it's a homemade cherry pie from cherries growing here on our land. This is a blessing way for Ashley, who was a new mother last year. And then this is a birthday party for Gail when she turned 80. She was one of our founding members. And this is Tom and Sundia. And then a central feature of, I think pretty much all co-housing communities is this idea of creating community spaces, and in particular, front porches. All of our houses have front porches. So if you bring out a box of wine on a Friday afternoon, you're bound to attract a crowd. But again, as part of co-housing design principles, it's not about uh, eliminating privacy from people's lives. It's about creating a balance of community and privacy. So while the front porch invites the community interaction, here's a picture of the back patio at our house. This is my wife Sandy and I. So, this is very private. And so the idea is to have the choice. If I want privacy, I would go out to my back patio. If I want to have the opportunity to interact with my neighbors, I'd go out to the front porch. Being established. This is one of our community meetings. We've got, good systems of self-governance. We use modified consensus process. We have about a half a dozen community meetings a year. Multi-generational community, and we just sent out a newsletter today about the joys of being in a multi-generational community. Again, we have people from newborns to octogenarians. Here's a 4th of July parade with the kids down our central pathway in the community. There's Ashley again with the new baby and some of the neighborhood girls. This is our village green, carving pumpkins. And this is actually, these three girls are at, I'm going to say Auntie Nancy's house. And Nancy doesn't have any kids herself, but she loves being part of these kids' lives. And so these kids are over playing at Nancy's house. Um, this is actually my daughter here in the front with the black visor on, and three of her friends. This picture was taken about 15 years ago on a river trip that I took them on. And these kids, all these kids that grew up together here are so close, or they continue to be very, very close. And it's kind of an idyllic place for kids to grow up. I'm so thankful that my three kids got to grow up here. Now here's those four girls again. Uh, Fast forward to the present time, and they've all found mates in life, and one is a new mother, but they all remain very, very close. Our lives are very kind of nature centric here, living in the middle of this beautiful 360 acres in the middle of this incredible mountain and red rock country region that we're in. We produce a lot of food here. This is an apple tree. We have lots of apples, cherries, plums, peaches. This is a sage meadow, part of our land as well. Um, some lupins. This is a little fawn that my wife ran across last summer when she was irrigating the pasture. And then we get herds of elk that call our land home as they're migrating through from time to time. And then we've had all kinds of different livestock over the years, horses, chickens, pigs. We've also had cattle, goats, sheep. Here's some bees, obviously. Um, Here's some of the produce we grow. We've got a nice dome greenhouse that these grapes grow in, and all this food. This is all grown here at Heartwood. And then one of the things we just really enjoy here, and depending on what kind of device you're looking at, you can see the starry, starry sky. We're at 7,000 feet with the dry mountain air, so we have incredible night skies most every night. Part of living in harmony with nature is we have very energy efficient passive solar homes, and we share a lot of resources. So here's just a list of a bunch of the resources we share. I'm not going to go through all these. We have an extensive website, so you can see a lot of this information on our website. But we have, some of the highlights here. We have an amazing common house, a very nice village green, a big kids play structure, a very big workshop. We've got a number of uh, gardens. We've got a greenhouse and a hoop house down in the pasture. We've got 7 miles of trails on our land, just a lot of different shared amenities. Um, this is our central pathway. So, like I think most all co-housing communities, this is pedestrian oriented. It can accommodate emergency vehicles, moving trucks. Somebody gets knee surgery and needs to be brought to their door. That can all happen on this pathway, but the pathway is pedestrian first. And here again is the central pathway. These carts, those are what make it possible to have, the remote parking. It makes it very easy to bring groceries or other things from the cars to the houses. This is our common house. This is a brunch inside the common house. This is the common house kitchen. And the kitchen is, bigger than a normal residential kitchen. And so when people have a big cooking activity, like here, a bunch of neighbors getting together to have a real big tamale making event. So they do that in the common house. We have guest rooms at the common house. And so, my family can use it as an extension of our home to bring family and friends here. And then we also get a lot of visitors, especially now that we're building phase two, who want to come and check out the community and see if it might be good for them. This is the hearth room. This is a weekly knitting group. I think it's called Knitting for Peace. They get together every week in the common house. And then this again is the village green in the fall, pressing apple cider. This is our kids' play structure, the SS Ponderosa, our workshop. This is our dome greenhouse, and this will be the center of our phase two development. So there'll be 14 houses kind of clustered around this greenhouse. This is the high tunnel hoop house down in the pasture. And then we've got a couple tractors for taking care of our irrigated pasture land, again, part of our shared resources, and a lot of shared tools, so everybody doesn't have to own their own picks and shovels and rakes and little harvesting tools. And we've also got, motorized shared equipment, chainsaw and log splitters and rototillers and snow blowers and lawn mowers, all that kind of stuff. This is our community yurt on our part of our forested land, and a lot of nice events happen in the yurt. This is a women's circle that happened there. This is one of my favorite amenities, a hot tub. This is a labyrinth. We've got a lot of people that work here remotely. We've got good internet service. We've got a nice little regional airport. And, as you can imagine, it's a pretty idyllic place to live with and you can bring the big city job here with you. This is somebody's home office looking out onto our forested land. So the region that we live in is, the Four Corners region, where Colorado meets Utah, meets Arizona, meets New Mexico. The Durango is kind of our big city. It's about 20,000 people. And then Bayfield is the smaller town right by us. But still at Bayfield, there's, groceries, hardware, all three levels of school, a really nice library, uh, and real nice kids resources. So Bayfield has a lot to offer as well as Durango. And then of course we have the Rocky Mountains, the Red Rock Canyons, and our climate. We have over 300 days of sunshine per year, so lots of sunny weather. And this is again Canyonlands, uh, camping together, lots of camping around here. This is the kids, some of the neighborhood kids hiking out at Canyonlands. And this is the Colorado River in Canyonlands National Park. And then Chaco Canyon, this is one of the many, many, many Puebloan ancient sites in this region. We're kind of right in the middle of that region. So it's not unusual at all to be doing a hike out in the Red Rock country and come across, I mean, not a ruins of this scale, but a granary or a home or a kiva out there in the back country. This is the San Juan River. This is a boys to men river trip we did. And then the high country, this is in wildflower season, obviously. It's just, a spectacular part of the world. So phase two, uh, so just kind of, and I'm not sure, again, how much you'll be able to see of some of these words, depending on what kind of device you're on, but just to kind of give you an overview, this is our land. Again, this is kind of the forested preserve over this way. This is the housing cluster in the middle, the irrigated pasture land down to the south. And then the phase two cluster is going to be right here, uh, adjacent to the phase one cluster. And this is an overview looking at it. Again, this is the phase one cluster. This is kind of the classic co-housing design. We've got the parking lots here on the periphery, and then the pedestrian pathway running through the middle. And then phase two will be just here adjacent. Um, so phase two is gonna feature 14 beautiful, well-built homes, very environmentally friendly. They'll be similar to the phase one homes, only better. Uh, Basically, in the 25 years since phase one happened, the green technologies have improved. There's been a greater consciousness around global warming, and so the homes will be all electric in phase two. This is a testimonial from a phase one home buyer or homeowner now. Um, Says, we love our home. It has tons of natural light from all of the big windows, letting us look out at the beautiful forests and bask in the warm winter sunshine. The passive solar gain stays in during the winter because it is so well insulated. And these are some pictures of the phase one homes and a couple interior shots. So these homes are not, super luxurious or anything, but they're very nice, high quality. You know, we're developing the project ourselves, and so it means a lot to us to build high quality, low maintenance houses. And so they're very, they're just good, solid homes. Here's another shot of a phase one home. So the phase two homes, um, we are very lucky to have as our architect Matt Warswick, who has designed a bunch of co-housing communities. Some of you might be familiar with Harmony Village. He's the architect there. He was the architect here for us for our phase one homes and the common house. Again, the high quality, low maintenance is a big point of emphasis in our home construction. And then all of our phase two homes are going to be ZER certified, which is a Department of Energy program, zero energy ready home, which means the homes will be passive solar, super energy efficient, all electric, and a healthy indoor environment. Uh, the part of what the difference between the phase two homes and the phase one homes will also be is that the phase two homes are going to have a greater emphasis on being fire resistant. I mean, our phase one homes are very good already. They have stucco exteriors and metal roofs, but they also have wooden trim and some things that we will replace in phase two with synthetic materials that are fire resistant. Again, we'll feature the balance of community and privacy in the design of the homes. There's going to be three models that we'll be building that range in size from 1,100 square feet to 2,600 square feet, and range in price and these are estimates. We should have within the next week or two updated price estimates, but we're thinking somewhere in the range of 665,000 to 885,000. And then we expect the homes to be ready to move in maybe starting as early as the end of this year and then through next fall. And this is an artist rendering of the phase two homes. So you can see they look very similar to the phase one homes. Uh, I should mention that this landscaping doesn't look anything like Heartwood landscaping with this, lawn. But the artist put it in there and we just left it because, it kind of shows off the house. It doesn't have a bunch of trees and things in the way of the house. This is a kind of a typical phase two floor plan. Again, you've got the front porch out here connected to the central pathway, and this is be more of the kind of communal sort of gathering place or a place where you could go to interact with neighbors more. And then the kitchen is to the front, and again, that promotes community connection, community interaction. And then a big open floor plan with dining room and living room, and then a private backyard and patio. This is the view from the inside. Again, that open floor plan, big windows to the south uh, for the passive solar gain and just the nice natural daylighting. Um, so reasons to explore Heartwood and potentially join now. The lots, there's 7 lots remaining in phase two. And so whoever commits to being a phase two home buyer next gets to choose the next lot that they want. Um, there's a $5,000 early bird credit that we're offering for anybody that does commit to being a phase two home buyer before we break ground, which is again expected to happen about a month or two from now. Home model choice. So we're offering those 3 models, but at some point, as excavation begins, we've got to decide what model goes on what lot so they, can install the right foundation and basement. Um, and so the model choices will become limited as those choices get made. So people that join sooner, they can choose any model they want. And then, kind of bottom line is that there won't be any phase three. We're gonna, after Heartwood has always been envisioned to be a phase one and a phase two. And once phase two is completed, we don't intend to ever build any more homes here. Ways that you can explore Heartwood. Um, and just one mention of how our membership works, because intentional communities have all different types of membership. And like a lot of co-housing, I think this is true for most co-housing, ours is a self-selecting type membership. So we invite people to fully familiarize themselves with the community, spend some time here, get to know people that live here, and then decide for themselves, is this a good fit for me? Am I a good fit for the community? So that's what we mean by self-selecting membership. People can choose themselves. The community does not choose who lives here. Uh, we have an extensive website, heartwoodcohousing.com. Lots and lots of information, and I'll post the link in the chat. And then, of course, to get to know the community, the only real way to do that is through an actual in-person visit, and we do have those guest rooms. And so we would love to, host anybody here that would like to explore Heartwood. And that's all I've got. So now I'll turn it back over to Cynthia for questions and answers.
Great. Thank you so much, Mac. Really appreciate that presentation. And oh my goodness, were those photos gorgeous. Just, I felt like iconic scenes of community life with the apple press and the garden work and the animals. And it just really looks idyllic. So, congratulations on being part of creating a thriving community, it looks like, and now in this next phase of expansion. Yeah. And thank you all for the great questions you've put in the chat so far. We're going to jump into your questions next. I'd love to have some discussion.